Welcome to the Orderica JMS training videos. In this video, we're going to discuss the manufacturing section. Start by clicking manufacturing in the bottom left of the screen. In this section, we can keep track of all products that are being manufactured, keeping track of their creation process, as well as the materials needed. We're actually going to start with the casting report section for now, and return to casting logs later. So in this section, we can view the casting reports by day. It includes information regarding each type of material in your manufacturing inventory. If you want to edit which materials are present in this list, be sure to watch our video on the Preferences section. Inventory is the amount of the material in your inventory for this day. Last is the amount in your inventory from the previous report. Add is how much is being added to the inventory today. Melt is the amount of scrap that is now unusable after that day's casting. Out is the total amount of casted goods made on that day. And short is the total amount that will get added or subtracted from the inventory at the end of the day. You have numbers for each material as well as totals listed at the top. Now let's click on the Details button to get a pop-up window. You can use the last day and next day buttons to change between logs. The top includes the same information we just saw, but the bottom will include information regarding the casted orders made and what amount of each material was used for them. On the right here, you have the option to add a new log and edit or delete the current one. Click on the Edit button to change or update any materials used for this log. So for instance, on this day we have 4 materials added to the inventory and 4 materials used on certain orders. Use the clear buttons on the top right if you want to remove one of these lines. Click on the Add Line button at the bottom here to add a new line. Select whether this is going into the inventory or out to be used on an order. Then select the material and add a weight. Then enter an order number if it applies. You can also enter in a small note for this section if needed. Press OK when you're done and the changes will be added to the list. You can also do the exact same thing with New to add a new casting log. Add in as many ins and outs as needed, and the inventory numbers will automatically be updated. Let's now move on to the All Orders section. This section will list all of the orders present in your manufacturing section. Let's start by clicking the green Add button in the top left to add a new order. At the top we have the customer information. If this is for a customer that already exists in your database, then click the Search button. Enter in some of their information such as name, then click Search. When you've found the customer you are looking for, click on them and press Select. If the customer for this order is not in your system yet, you can press the green Add button to create that customer profile right now. Use the Edit button and View buttons next to the customer image if needed. To the right of that we have some options such as Rush, Repair, and Handmade that can be selected if they apply to this order. Later, if the order gets cancelled, you can come and select the Cancel option as well. Below that we have the 7 status options for this order. It starts with Created as the default, but you can always come to this order after this creation and update the status as the order is executed to keep track of its progress. Next we have the order details. Enter in as much information as you want. Select a category from this list. Enter in a pickup and deadline date if they apply. Select the CAD designer and setter from the list of users. Then you can enter in information regarding the casted weight and center carat. You can also add some descriptions if you want, as well as an engraving. If this order is for an item that is in your inventory, you can press the magnifying glass button here. Enter in some of its information to help search for it, and select it when you found it. You can also create an item right here as well by pressing the blue plus button here. The pencil button allows you to edit the item. After you've selected an item, you can also create an invoice for this item as well if you'd like. If you want to create this item with different sizes and different materials, you can enter in that information on the right. Enter in the size on the left, then select the material, then enter in the quantity that you want to create for that size and material. Below that, you can attach some files. There's a section for the original order sheet, then reference and CAD sheets. Click Choose File and select the file you want to upload from your computer. After you add your file, a small preview will be shown. Now that's it for the General tab. Let's now click on the Stones tab at the top left here. Here we can add a list of stones that are going to be used for this order. First, select a type, then a color if it applies. Follow that with the shape and size. Then enter in the quantities and weight. You can also add a small note if you'd like. Continue this for as many stones as you want to add to this order. You can always use the delete button on the far right to remove any stones that you've added. Now before we complete the order, notice that there is a print button on the bottom left here. Click it and you'll get a printable page detailing the information of this order. Now press the OK button to complete the creation. Now your order will be added to this list, and there will be a preview window shown below. You can press the Details button on one of these orders to get a brief summary of the order. You can also double-click on the order or press the Edit buttons to get the full information on the order where you can make edits. Duplicate will bring up a new order page with all of the same information as this order, and Delete will of course remove it. Use the arrows at the top to switch between pages, or just press the drop down here and choose which page to switch to. Left of that, you can use the search button to filter the orders shown by certain fields, such as category or customer, and use the reload button to remove any search filters you've added. If you click on the view button at the top here, you can actually move the preview section to the right of the screen. You can also select to remove the preview window entirely, or remove the grid and have it only show the preview, in which you would then use the next and previous buttons to switch between each order. There's also the option to switch to a catalog view, which shows each order as an image, which you can then double click to get the full details. Now that you know about all orders, the rest of these sections under manufacturing are quite simple. If you recall on the orders page, we had 4 fields listed at the top: rush, repair, handmade, and cancel. You'll notice those same 4 fields are listed here as sections. If we click on one, it will filter the orders and only show the ones that have that particular field selected. The same applies for the 7 fields regarding the progress of the order. Click on one of these sections and it will only show you the orders that are on that particular point in their creation process. Now that we understand the orders in the casting reports, let's return to the casting log section. This section is essentially an overview for casting orders and product inventory. At the top we have the inventory casting reports for the given date selected, and the bottom includes the orders which are next up for casting, as well as the most recently casted orders. You can use the last and next day buttons to switch between days, and you can use all the buttons like edit or details, just as I described them before. Now let's go over the services section, starting with all services. Here you get a list of all the services that are in your system. Like always, you have the preview down below, but you can also double click on one or press the edit button to see the full pop-up. This section is almost exactly the same as the services section of account receivable. So be sure to watch the video on that topic if you haven't already, to learn all the details of the different forms of services. We've included this in manufacturing as well, because it is likely that you'll need to complete some form of manufacturing to complete a service. So it's beneficial to have these two sections grouped up in some way. Also, there's one major difference for this services section over the other, and that is this tools section at the top here. So after a service has been completed or rejected, you can select it and press the corresponding buttons here. And if you ever have a completed or rejected service that needs to be reprocessed, you can select it and press the Reopen to Process button. The Open Order or Product buttons allow you to view the orders or products that are related to these services, if any. There's also a status filter here, where you can filter your list by certain statuses like in progress or ready for delivery. Just like manufacturing, there are also sections where you can filter the services by their type, such as custom orders or appraisals, instead of viewing all of them. And of course, the standard search and navigation features apply to this section as well. Lastly, there's the option to export this section to PDF or Excel files by using the Export To button in the top right. Just select which file type you want and begin downloading it onto your computer. Well, that concludes our video on manufacturing. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at info@orderica.com. Thanks for watching.